I feel a little bit like I'm a woman living in the 1800s. I feel a little bit like we're all the women of the 1800s. What do I mean by that? In days gone by, women were not allowed to go to school, read books, learn, things like that, because when you limit someone's knowledge and education, you can limit their power and their opportunities, right? So by keeping women in the dark in the past, they didn't really have a lot of options in life. Like the men could kind of control things, right? So why do I think we are like the women of the 1800s? Stick with me. We like to think of ourselves as independent thinkers, don't we? Like if somebody tells you what you're supposed to do with your life, do you just listen to them? Or do you want to make your own decision? We want to make our own decision, right? Like if some billionaire walks up to you on the street and tells you what you should do as a career or with your family or how many babies you should have or anything else, like, are you just going to listen to that guy? Like, does he care about you and your personal life? Or do you want to make your own decision? We want to make our own decisions, right? Like we look at ourselves as independent thinkers. Well, we have to challenge that there's information everywhere. There's information everywhere. If we get our information from this news station and another news station, and maybe I have this news app on my phone, and then I get stuff on social media, we think like we're knowledgeable and we know what's going on, right? Because we're getting our information from these various places. We pay attention, some of us, those of us who haven't buried their heads in the sand. Okay? Okay, but here's the thing. Are you aware that the vast majority of the media companies, like all of the information we see, the vast majority of them are owned by six companies? Six companies. Let's even give some, let's extend that a little bit. Let's say that like 10 or 15 billionaires own the vast majority of the information we are getting. I want to illustrate this with some pretty awesome pictures I drew. So here we go. Here we have three people. Oh, I forgot to draw these are three people who have a lot of money, way more money than you and I could ever dream of. Okay? Here we have three people with some dollar signs beside them who are telling us some really loud messages. So this is to illustrate we get our information through like a million places, but because only a very few people own all of those companies, basically we're getting the same message over and over again, okay? Same message over and over again. Now, if you look close, well, that's interesting. All of them are telling us the sky is green. Well, that doesn't make any sense at all. But if enough people tell us enough times and we're not hearing anything different, maybe we'll start to believe the sky is green. So this is what most of us are seeing and hearing. Why are all of these rich people, these like few rich people who own all the companies, telling us the same story? I don't know. But here's what's really going on. There are loads and loads of other people out there trying to shout from the rooftops that there is something different going on. That all that mainstream stuff is, I don't know what it is, but it is not truth. Some of it is truth, some of it is partial truth. There is a lot of mistruth going on, and there's all these people who are more like me and you. Like some of them are rich too. Some of them are extremely well educated. There are some billionaires in the group of the small guys trying to get the message out that other things are happening and we have to pay attention because these guys don't have our best interest in mind. They don't. But there's so many other people out there trying to get the message across. If you or an independent thinker and you want to make your own decision about this election, you've got to be listening to other news sources that are not as common. So I've been urging people to listen to both conservative and liberal news. I'm going to change what I'm saying a little bit. That's important, but go out and find like independent, smaller news places and start listening to them. I have been searching. I found a whole bunch of new ones on my phone that I've just kind of been browsing through. You can look at headlines. Some of them send you like headline updates. You can go in and listen to some of them. Some of the ones I really encourage you to listen to are Christian ones. If you are tired of your news being delivered with an attitude as if we are trying to convince you what to believe, the Christian ones are very much not that way. Victory News from the Go Victory app is one that I like. Some of the independent ones, Real American News, like there's all these things out there. There's these people trying to tell a different story. So when you start listening to the different story, you're gonna be like, these people are off their rocker. They are totally lying. Keep listening. It is a very different side of the story. So it is going to sound like you're listening to Chinese if you haven't listened to it before. But keep listening and just try and make sense of what's going on. Watch with your own eyes. See what you see with your own eyes. Think, pray on this. This is important. People are calling this the most important election of our nation's history. I agree with that, okay? When we used to have different candidates, I'm going to call it like we're voting on like Colby cheese versus Kojak cheese. Like that was the difference. Now we are looking at Oreos and salad. Like we are not in the same ballpark. This is important. You may not have much time, but you can download a couple apps on your phone and pay attention to different sides. You must look up different sides and try and make sense of it. You can do this. I have posted some of the resources I think are the most important on my website. If you can read this, sorry, this is not very good. handmakewithlove.com/take a stand. I've listed some of the news sources there that I think are valuable. I've listed a whole assortment of news sources that you all shared with me. I've listed some of the behind the scenes issues that are really critically important and you may not be hearing about them. It's time for us to take a stand. I've been urging you all to pray with me. We have got to turn back to our faith. Our nation was founded on faith. It was pervasive in every aspect of their lives. They kept it out of the government on purpose so that the government didn't ruin faith. Then at some point, they started looking at the separation of church and state as a way to not let faith ruin government. That was wrong. That was not the way they intended it to be. We got to turn back to our faith. We got to remember there is a God that is in charge, who controls every aspect of our life, and he works miracles every day. And we need to turn to him. And we need to help others who don't know him find him. Set an alarm on your phones, 6:30 every evening. Let's pray for our country. On Fridays, we're fasting. I'm going to be honest, this past Friday, like life has been a lot here. I totally forgot on Friday, but I made up for it on Friday, and I actually fasted more than one day. Fast on Fridays. Figure out how to do some kind of organized prayer on election day. Invite people over to your home. Set up something at your church where people are praying all day long while the polls are open. We need to turn back to who we were in the beginning because that worked. They had their problems. They had to fight through them, but it worked. We need to remember who we are and remind the one who has blessed us for so long that we still turn to him. Have a blessed day, friends. What are you doing to help? I know so many of you are with me on like knowing what's going on and you're fired up about it, mad, but what are you doing? Can you like walk around a town with little slips of paper with like places people can look up good information. You can start on my website and find some of those if you want. Like, go talk to people. It doesn't have to be offensive. We don't have to argue about issues, but like, just tell people like, I'm really concerned about where our country is and the misinformation that's out there, and I just want to do my part to try to start talking to people and sharing what I believe to be the truth, because America is in danger and we have to start working together. Like what can you do? Can you do stuff on social media? Can you put a sign in front of your house? Can you do something at your church? Get your church to talk about what's going on. All these silent churches, we're going to talk about this soon. I can't tell you what I think about all these churches staying silent. We will save it for a different day. This matters. If you don't want to lose your right to worship, you better get up and start talking about stuff. What can you do to join the fight? We all have a role to play. Have a blessed day, my friends.